It was late afternoon as I was walking home. I was almost out of the forest when I saw a bush rustle and heard quiet steps. They were rapid. I thought it was a deer, which you don't see many of and I love to see, so I followed the noise. It led me to a clearing in part of the forest that I had never been in before. When the creature walked into the clearing, I was shocked. It was almost 15 feet tall and had black, shaggy, thick fur. Its face seemed oddly dog-like, and it had large, almond-shaped, blank black eyes. Its legs were long and spindly and ended in a sharp point. I had never seen a creature quite like this before, and there was blood around its mouth. It paused for a moment as if sensing what was nearby, and then it turned and looked directly at me. The moment it set eyes on me, I knew it was a mistake to follow the strange noise. It seemed like the creature could see into my soul. I ran as fast as I could in the opposite direction for what seemed like hours of running, and I still couldn't find the end of the forest. I knew I had only followed this sick creature for a few moments, but hours of running couldn't get me back. I was lost. I checked behind me for the creature and saw that it wasn't following me. I relaxed a little, but I was still tense from the fact that I couldn't get out. I hear a voice ahead, so I sprint to it. I finally emerged from the forest on the sidewalk. The voice had been the police. My mother ran over and hugged me from behind. I screamed, thinking it was the beast. I guess I had been in that forest for a while, and my mom got worried. I got home and forgot all about the monster in the endless forest. I sat up in bed and put my glasses on to see the clock. 2:39 it read. I wondered what awoke me for a moment, then I decided that it was just a nightmare that I didn't remember. I try to go back to sleep, but it eludes me. I go to get a drink of water, and I hear a tapping sound. I look out the window, but it's too dark to see anything. I dismiss it as a branch. I get my water and hop into bed. I fall asleep after a while, and wake up with a jolt from a nightmare. I was being chased endlessly by that beast until its extreme speed had gotten it close enough to launch a meter in the air, and it landed straight on top of me. I checked the clock. 9:34 it said. I had slept in with a nightmare. Great, I thought. I wasted a few hours of my day and I got scared out of my skin. I walked downstairs to get some breakfast, but oddly, no one was there. I probably went to work early, I told myself, but I felt like someone or something was watching me. I knew I didn't have a guardian angel because if I did, that creature never would have looked at me. I thought a bit about the creature, and that it might have kidnapped my parents, or worse, it could have killed them. I went online and searched around. I only found a small bit of information about the creature. It was called a strider. It hunts animals and tears off their legs before feasting on their bodies. If a human follows them, they will hunt down that person until they are dead. The thought that the strider would not stop until I was dead was unsettling. I researched until lunchtime, and I only found that no one who had encountered the monster survived more than a few months after the encounter. I also found a few other names that the people called this thing. Stiltwalker and Forest Strider. It was time that my parents came home from work for the lunch break, but they didn't. I called their work, but I was told that they hadn't came in today. I called 911 to report missing people. After the police had left, I decided to end this. I walked to the forest and followed the tracks I had made in the mud to the clearing. The strider stood tall and strong over a decapitated cow elk. There was gore and eternals everywhere around the carcass. I felt like I was going to be sick, but I began to speak to the creature. "If I give you my life, will you leave my parents alone?" I yelled at the hideous animal. It quickly looked at me and began to slowly creep towards me. It made no noise as it stalked. When I was close enough, it lunged at me, just like my nightmare, only I didn't run away. Months passed as the news of the murdered child had died down. No one had seen me or my parents since the murder. The strider still walks these forests today, in search of his next meal. If you enter the forest in late afternoon, then be prepared, and do not follow the strange noise.